Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Are you?
So your topic is, yes, I'm Muslim.
Okay.
So the topic is Islam versus Christianity, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to say that Islam is true because of our depiction of God, how God is described versus in Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
So God in Islam is described as the ever-living one, the eternal, and in Christianity, God is also described as eternal, but I could also challenge that God being eternal.
Okay, now.
Yeah, eternal in the sense that he is the first and the last, meaning that he has no beginning, no end. And I could challenge that. Would you like me to do that?
You could challenge that?
Yeah.
Okay. You're challenging whether or not God, the God of the Bible, is eternal?
Is eternal, yes. In the sense that he has no beginning, no end. Not that in the sense that he will never die, in the sense that he has no beginning, no end. And I could also challenge his...
So that he's always existed and he will never cease to exist. Right?
What? I'm sorry?
You're saying that you're about to challenge the idea that the God of the Bible
yes,
eternally exists. Like he always existed from the beginning, and he'll always exist.
He always existed. He was always was.
So you're about to.
He doesn't come from.
So you're about to demonstrate to me that he came from somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So you guys believe that Jesus Christ, peace and blessings be upon him, is God, right?
Of course.
Of course. So I would like to ask that what does the word begotten mean?
It means to come forth from.
It means to come forth from, or to be produced, to be made to come about into existence, right?
In certain contexts, sure.
So what does the word generated mean?
Same thing.
What does the word generate?
To come forth from.
Yeah, to come forth from. Mm-hmm. So I would also ask, what does the word generating mean? What does the word generate?
I thought we just said that.
Okay, sharp. The word generate and the word begotten is kind of the similar thing, kind of a similar definition.
Yeah, they can be
now I would like us to check the word eternal. What does eternal mean? It means
everlasting.
That what?
Everlasting.
Everlasting in the sense that you can never die. You can never die, right? Everlasting.
You've always you're self-sustaining.
You have always existed. Mm-hmm. Now, I would like us to look at God the Father and God the Son. I would like to ask, as a Muslim, oh, God the Father, where you are God? He says, yes, I am God. And I said, where do you come from? He says, I come from nowhere. I am God. I always was, right?
Okay.
So now I said, oh, okay, you're God because you always was. You have no beginning, no end. I understand that, God. Then I go to God the Son. I said, God the Son, how are you? He says, okay, I'm good. And I say, like, you're God, right? He says, yes, according to biblically, what the Bible says. And I say, what? But where do you come from? I say, I come from my father. I said, if it wasn't for your father, would you be here? He says, no, because my father produced me. And I said, no. But you said you're eternal. You have no beginning, no end. And I would like for you, my brother, to explain to me that. Because someone who is eternal, how can someone who is eternal be produced, to be made to be? Because if you're eternal and if you're produced, it means there must be a time whereby you went there, right? Mm. I mean, to be produced.
Typically.
I mean, if I'm holding a pen right now.
Brother, you don't even have to go even further. You're making a lot of sense. You're making a lot of sense. So the question is, how can Jesus be generated from the Father, come from the Father, and be eternal? It's like those things are just contradictory, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I want to give you an example that you'll really see a lot of the early church use. You know how light comes forth from the sun, correct?
Sure.
So the sun generates light, right? Okay. As long as the sun is the sun, it'll always generate light, correct? Light would come forth from it. Okay. Now imagine if the sun was infinite. If the sun was infinite and eternal, then the sun would eternally generate light, correct?
Sure.
So this generation
because the sun is light, yeah.
So this generation would be an action that doesn't take place in time, but it's an eternal action that always is.
Yeah. Right? You know why? Because also light is part of the sun. It's what makes up the sun.
Exactly.
You can't have light without the sun.
And you can't and the sun can't be the sun without its light, right? It'll be a dead star. So similarly, Jesus is eternally generated from the Father, eternally begotten from the Father. So it's not that he comes from the Father in a point in time or is generated or begotten in a point in time. He is eternally begotten, eternally generated from the Father. As long as the Father is the Father, he eternally generates the Son. That's why, similar to how without the sun, there is no light generated, and without the light, there is no sun. It's just a dead star. The Father is the Father because he begets the Son. Without the Son, there is no Father. And without the Father, there is no Son. It's vice versa.
Okay. But then, my brother, let's now look at this word begot. Okay. Let's now look at the word begotten. It means to be produced, to be made, to come about, right? Now, you gave a very good example with the sun and the light. It's a very good example that, yes, we wouldn't have the light without the sun because the light, well, it's what produces the sun. But my brother, would you agree with me when I say that the knowledge of God is what makes up God? We wouldn't have God if he wasn't all-knowing, right?
Well, I would agree that is a necessary property of God.
Sure.
But
of God, it's an attribute of God. What kind of God would be that one who doesn't know everything, right?
Yeah. So it sounds like, just really quick, it sounds like you're about to go to a different argument now. So no. I'm staying on topic, my brother. So you're staying on the generation of the Son.
I'm telling you. I'm just giving an example.
Just to be clear. So you're sticking on the concept of Jesus being begotten from the Father. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I am. I'm just giving an example.
Okay, because not knowledge doesn't have any. I don't see how knowledge is related. But
no. Okay, fine. No. Just listen to it. You see. So we wouldn't. And the attribute of God, for example, being all powerful, we agree that is what makes up God. God didn't produce his power. It's just what makes him up. We wouldn't have God without him being all powerful, right?
That is a necessary property of God.
That is a necessary property of God. Yes. So now let us look at the word begotten, to be produced, to be made into existence. You went already there with God.
I wouldn't say to be made into existence in this case. That's why I said
what?
Being begotten is not to be made to exist in every case. Not in this case. It just simply means to be brought forth.
To be brought forth. But then begotten really means to be produced. To be produced.
In some instances, it also means to be brought forth, simply.
Can you give me an example in instances where begotten does not mean
to be brought forth? That's why the creed says that Jesus is begotten, not made. He didn't come into existence. He's always existed. Just like I just gave you an example. You would agree that if the sun was infinite, then the light that is generated from the sun would be infinite as well, correct?
Sure.
Okay. So if the Father, it's the same thing with the Father and the Son. The Father is infinitely the Father, and so he infinitely begets or generates the Son. So this means that the Son did not come into existence because he's infinitely, eternally begotten. There's not a time where this began. You understand?
No, can you explain it again? Because I'm not finding an example whereby something begotten and something that is made to be brought about into existence. Okay.
Let me ask you this again. Let's just do it slower. Let's do it slower.
Sure.
If the sun is infinite, you agreed that it would infinitely generate light, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would that mean that the light came into existence, or has the light always been?
It has always been there because it is part of the light, part of the sun.
It's coming forth from the sun, right?
Sure.
Okay. So you can have, I just gave you an example where something is produced or generated, right? Brought forth without it being created, without it coming into existence. It has always existed, even though it's being generated from another. I just gave you an example. Infinite sun, infinite generation of light. So similarly, the Father is infinitely the Father. So that means that he infinitely generates or begets the Son. There's never a time where the Father's not the Father, which means there's never a time where the Father does not beget his Son. It's eternal generation, eternal begettingness. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, sure. I get you saying that.
Praise God.
You're saying that the sun, the light, because the sun is part of the light is part of the sun. It is eternally generated. Since that it is part of the sun. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
Thank you. So now, can I put a challenge to you?
Oh, fine.
Okay. So now that we see that the God of the Bible is eternal in every way, in every sense, I would argue, and all powerful, he has all the attributes of what God is. I would argue that Allah in the Quran does not have all the necessary attributes that make God God. I.e., I do not believe that Allah is all powerful.
Can you prove that?
Yes. I love to ask this question. Could Allah have a son if he wanted to?
Oh.
You're starting to break up.
He could not naturally have a son. I'm sorry. No. Allah cannot naturally have a son if he wanted to.
You said naturally?
Cannot. He can only pick from his creation if he wanted to have a son. For example, for in the case of adoption, if he wanted to adopt if you want to have a son, he could adopt a son. He could pick from his creation without naturally producing it.
Okay. Do you believe that Allah is a natural being? Like he's when you say he can't naturally have a son, it sounds like you're saying that Allah doesn't have sons biologically, like he's a biological being or something like that.
No, I'm not saying that he's a natural being.
Oh.
The concept of having a son, right? It's something that happens. You could say, for the sake of human understanding, you could say that it's something that has to be done without it has something that has to be brought forth without you necessarily creating the thing.
You're breaking up, man.
Would you agree with me that you are the son of your mother?
I disagree.
And your mother had no. You don't.
No.
You don't agree that you're the son of your mother?
Of course not.
You don't agree that.
How is that possible?
You don't agree that you're the child of your mother?
No. How is that possible? What? Why would you think? No.
See, you don't agree that your mother is. Oh, you don't agree that you are the child of your mother?
No.
Not.
Why would you think? Why would you think that I'm the child of my mother? You don't see how it's different. when it comes to me and my mother. It's because that's why, honestly.
Okay, fine. Understand? Me, I'm my mother's child, right?
Okay.
You just come to me.
Okay.
I am my mother's child. But if my mother came to me today and said, I am your creator, right? I would disagree with her. You know why? Because she didn't take part in forming my eyes. When I was in her womb, she didn't take part in forming my eyes, putting my brain, so on and so forth.
Right.
It was only an uncontrolled natural process. Whereas I believe I would call that an uncontrolled natural process God. He is the one that had formed, and she is the creator, right?
That makes sense.
Right?
I'm with you.
So, and also I would like to also add that there is a difference between a creation and a child. Where a creation is something that you personally have made it, and a child, it's something that just came about through an uncontrolled process.
Yeah, but right? So listen. I get it. I know that there's a difference between a child and just a creation of yours. I get it. My question is can Allah have a child? Can he have a son?
No, he cannot. He does not have the ability to do so. And I'll tell you why. Because I know what you're gonna say.
What am I gonna say?
Like Surah 6, chapter 100, Surah 6, verse 100.
Close.
Okay.
101.
Okay, 101. All right. I have my Quran. I wanna see it.
Sure. You can read 100 and 101 together because that's just context.
But they have attributed to Allah partners, the jinn, while he has created man, and have fabricated for him sons and daughters without knowledge. Exalted is he and high above with what they describe. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. How could he have a son when he does not have a companion? That's 101. I don't know why I said 100. And he created all things, and he's of all things knowing.
It seems it looked like to me that Allah could have a son if he had a companion.
If he had a companion, right? If he had a companion, can I explain a little bit more?
What is that
on the part of if he had a companion, right? Can I explain a little bit more on that?
In a second, I'll let you break it down. But just let's get a foundation here that this is showing that Allah does have the ability to have a son if he had a companion, right? As long as he had a companion, he has the ability to have a son, right?
If he had a companion, yes, to maybe for the sake of human understanding, maybe to get intimate with or something like that. For the sake of human understanding.
Not for the sake of human understanding, because remember, he's using this logic to refute the humans who are saying that he has a son, right? We just saw the verse that they ascribe him partners with the jinn and stuff, and they say he has sons and daughters. And then he responds by saying he's the creator of the heavens and earth. How can he have a son when he doesn't have a companion? And he's the creator and knower of all things. So this is his refutation, his rebuttal. Hey guys, here's the proof that I don't have a son. How can I have a son when I don't have a companion?
While I am also the creator of all things, and of all things I am knowing. I don't have a companion, right? A companion is someone who is equal to you, someone who can do kind of what you can do, right?
Not necessarily.
Like something that you can, like a companion, someone who's of your level or something like else. So something of that means, like a human being is, human being and human being, they're kind of the same level. I mean, a human being can't mate with anything other than a human being, right?
So this is about mating. And so,
I'm just saying that for the sake of humans, it's not necessarily that God mates or something like that.
But he could just for the sake of companion.
He could if he had a companion.
Oof.
Or that is of his similar,
right.
That's similar to him.
Right. So if Allah had a companion, If Allah had a companion similar to him, he would be able to mate with that companion. Right?
No, not to mate, but he will able to maybe produce. I wouldn't say mate because I'm just saying mate for the sake of human understanding.
I mean, that's actually what the verse calls him. The verse actually doesn't really say companion. It actually like says like mate or like kind of girlfriend type of thing.
Okay, fine.
So it's talking about mating. It's talking about doing the, you know.
Doesn't it say that a companion, or in other English translations would say a partner or some sort?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. I'm not appealing to the English translation. I'm appealing to the Arabic. In the Arabic, it's more of a term referring to like a girlfriend. So, yeah, some English translations say it like how you say it, a companion, or others say a mate, others say a wife, others say a consort. You know,
sure,
same idea.
Something that is of the same standard as you. Sure.
Well, not necessarily the same standard, but unless like because that would make sense if you're thinking naturally, like a dog mates with a dog, human mates with a human, bear mates with a bear. You know, Allah would mate with something that's similar to him, to his kind.
Similar to him, yes, I agree 100%. Right. Yes.
So basically, like it's like saying this, like let's say there was no woman on the earth, right? If there was like no woman left on the earth, then you would not have the ability to have a son, correct?
Yeah, sure.
But if there was a woman on the earth, then you would be able to have a son if you had.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So same thing with Allah. Now, naturally, you have the ability, like you have the ability to have a son. You would just need a mate to do it with, to have a son with. You would need help.
Yes.
Same
you need
thing,
help.
Right.
Yes.
Similar with Allah. Allah has the ability to have a son. He would just need a mate or a companion to have a son with.
Yeah, sure.
So he would need help.
He would need help. He would need help.
Yeah, which means he's not all powerful.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Let me expand on why he sees that. Can I do that, Sheikh?
Sure,
my brother.
Sure. We remember we just concluded he's not all powerful because he would need help. All right. If you need help, you're not all powerful.
No, he's all powerful. He's the knowing creator, but in the sense of creating making a son, right?
He's not all powerful.
He would not be able to make a son, whereas there's nobody to match his similitude, in the sense of there's no other creator, right? Do you agree that there's no the other person that has the ability to create other than God himself?
No, Jesus. Remember in the Quran, Jesus created a bird.
I know I know you're a Christian. I'm just saying.
No. I'm not talking about from a Christian standpoint. From the Quran standpoint, Jesus also created life. He created a bird from clay with Allah's permission.
Yeah, sure.
So you do have multiple creators in Islam.
No. He only created by Allah's permission.
Right. That's like me saying that I only shot my target with my commander's permission. That doesn't mean that. Similar to how humans, one could say that they also produce, make into existence creatures, but only by Allah's permissions. Well, they don't. They don't create. They just reproduce.
Produce, make. That's why I said produce, make into existence.
Okay,
that is begetting.
But really, like if we're talking about creating life, Jesus created life with Allah's permission. So, meaning that he had the ability to create life, he just only did it when he had permission of Allah to do it.
Sure.
So you have two creators at the very least. In Islam, you have at least two creators.
No, he didn't create the bed on his own power. He created by God's power, not on his own power.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that he created by Allah's power. It says that he created.
There's a verse that says that
by his permission. What? It says he created the bird by his permission. Permission and power are two different things.
Permission in the sense that he would require, like, is similar to the verse whereby in the Bible says, Jesus says, I on my own self can do nothing. It's similar to that. I require the permission.
You got to finish the verse, because I would agree with you. He says, by myself I can do nothing, but but whatever I see the Father doing, for whatever the Father does, I do likewise. The Son does the same way. So he just said that he's capable of doing whatever the Father does. He just doesn't do it by himself. Like, he's not outside of the Father's will. Everything he does is within the Father's will. He's not a rogue ninja, right? So in the same way, everything that Jesus does was within the permission or the will of Allah in the Quran. But he has the ability to do it. He's a humble and perfect servant. He doesn't exercise his powers or abilities outside of Allah's will.
Does
that make sense?
I'm not sure. No, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it does. looks
from what we get, right, and from what we actually derive, Jesus cannot do anything on his own. He requires permission, in the sense that he requires, like, permission in the sense that it has to be God that has to do. Like,
God isn't doing it. God's not doing it. He's doing it.
In the sense that, as Muslim, we say that we need a permission to even take a breath, right?
Sure, but you're the one breathing, right?
Yes, but who gave me the ability?
All right, so I agree that you are given the ability to
breathe. Similarly,
right?
here.
But hold on.
Similarly here.
Hold on, but the Quran says that. The Quran says that he created you and gave you the ability to breathe and do all these things. The Quran says that. The Quran never says that Jesus is given the ability to create life. It just says that he does it with Allah's permission. What you need to do is show
with Allah's permission, in the sense that, in the same sense that he would acquire the ability to do that, but permission in the sense that he will require the ability from God to be able to do such things.
That's not what it says.
It doesn't wake up the.
Brother, that's not what it says. I hear what you're saying. It's just not what it says. It says he created life and Jesus breathed into the bird and it became a living bird by Allah's permission. So Allah gave Jesus permission to create life. That doesn't mean that he gave him the ability to do it. That's like, I used the example earlier a little bit. That's like me. Let's say you are my commander, right? We're part of the army. You're my commander. You're my general. And I'm your sniper. Okay. You following me so far?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're my general. You're my commander. I follow your orders. I am your sniper. We have a target that we're going after. And I'm in my position and I have the target in my sights. However, I do not release. I don't pull the trigger because you have not given me permission to pull the trigger. But that doesn't mean that I don't have the ability to do it, right? I have the ability to take the target out right now, right? I have the skill. I have the ability. Finger on the trigger. I can do it myself, right?
Sure.
But I would be out of order and I would be a bad sniper, a bad soldier, if I acted on my own and did it of my own self.
Yeah, you would acquire authority. Yeah.
Exactly. So I submit to your authority as my general to give me the permission. Okay?
To give you the permission.
Yep. Same thing with Jesus. Jesus has the authority, has the ability to create life, has the ability to do all these things. However, he's not a rogue soldier. He does these things within the will and permission of the one he submits to, his general, the Father, or in the Quran's case, Allah. Exactly. So him creating the bird and giving it life by Allah's permission does not mean that he did not have already the ability to give life to that bird. He just, as a humble servant, doesn't do it unless he receives permission to do it.
So he does it by his own
power.
He does it by his own power.
He has the ability to create life, but he doesn't create life. He doesn't use his abilities unless he receives permission. Just like I have the ability to pull the trigger, but I do not pull the trigger unless I receive permission.
But you as a Christian, according to the Bible, you believe that Jesus Christ said that I on my own can do nothing by my own power, by my own strength.
No, he doesn't say by my own strength. He doesn't say that.
What does it say?
It's like me saying, like, I'll say it again. If I as a soldier say, by myself, I can do nothing. That's accurate, right? Like by myself, I'm not allowed to take out this target. I can't work alone and take out this target, correct? You feel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. So by myself, I can do nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I don't have the ability to take out the target, because I do. I have the strength, I have the skill, I have the ability right now to take out the target. However, I cannot do anything of my own self.
Sure.
I work within the permission and the will of my general.
Similarly, I as well, as a human being.
And same.
I could also say.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I as a human being, I could also say that I on my own self can do nothing. I will require the permission of a higher authority to do anything.
Right.
I cannot breathe. I cannot walk. I cannot do so and so. Right.
You can breathe on your own. You don't need anybody.
Yeah, sure. I can breathe on my own, but I will acquire some permission. Even if I don't ask it, he's so merciful that I don't have to ask him all the time to breathe, to do all things.
That's not analogous. You have the ability in and of yourself to breathe.
I have the ability, right? Yeah. I have the ability to do so and so, right? But the question is, who has given me the ability to do that, to do so and so? Is it my own self?
See, again, you're not following, brother. We're not talking about whether or not you're given the ability to do something. If you're saying that Jesus is given the ability to create life, you have to show me where the Quran says that. Then I'll concede and say, all right, you got me. It says he was given the ability, so this isn't his own power. He was also not only given permission, but he's also given power by Allah to do this. You understand? You understand the difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So even in the Bible, Jesus has the power to do all things. Raise the dead, give life, forgive sins, everything. Judge. He has the power to do all of that. He just does not do that on his own, meaning he doesn't use any of those abilities outside of the will of the Father. He is in perfect alignment with the will of the Father. He cannot be separated from the will of the Father since they share the same will. Similarly here, Jesus, this Isa character, is in perfect alignment with Allah's will. And so he uses his abilities within the will of Allah and the permission of Allah. He is not a rogue ninja. He creates the life of the bird within the will of Allah, under the permission of Allah.
Okay.
So within Islam, there are at least two creators. You have the big C, big creator who created all things, pretty much most things. They'll say most things. And then you have Jesus, who created this little bird and gave it life, similar to how Allah gave life to Adam.
I wouldn't agree with that, because in the Quran, I'm pretty sure there are many instances whereby people do certain miracles and they say it was only by the permission of God. But I don't think they claim that they themselves have the ability to do so, to create on their own. But they say that they require permission, meaning that this ability is, you could say, it's given.
Now you would have to show a verse where it says that, brother. That where it says that they're doing this on the permission of Allah.
Okay. I have to be honest with you, brother. I'm not advanced on the Quran.
It's okay. Look, we can circle back to what we were talking about prior. So,
please.
Yeah. So Allah, we said all that to say, Allah would need help in order to have a son. He would need a companion that, I guess is similar enough to him to where he can have relations with to have a child. Because that companion doesn't exist, he therefore cannot have a son. So Allah is not all powerful because he would need help to have. He could have a son, but he would need help to do it.
Okay. If you can look at what the verse says, it further expands, and he created all things, and he's of all things knowing. And then I would ask my brother, what is the difference between something that is created and something that is given birth to? What is the difference? If I say I am the father of AI, it means in a sense that I have created AI of my own, human interference, that I did this, I coded that. But when my mother said, I have given birth to you, it means that there was we could say an uncontrolled natural process whereby I was brought into being without her necessarily interfering. And here God says, and he created all things. And previously he has no companion, no one that is similar to him that can be a creator like him, right? Sure.
What does that have to do with Allah having a son, man? With a mate, like needing a mate to have a son, a companion to have a son.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that God doesn't have any companion who is similar to him, who can be a creator like him. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that has created all things. If so he could not create a son because there would be nothing, an uncontrolled process that could,
he couldn't control that
create
process?
This thing.
He couldn't control that process?
He couldn't control that process. If you control that process, it means he's the creator of the thing. I mean, there's difference between a created thing and a thing that is given birth to.
So he can't produce a son from his own self?
No. If he created, because he would create a thing.
But would it be created if it's coming forth from him? Nothing that comes forth from Allah is created, right?
Sure.
So if a son is coming forth from Allah, then this son would be uncreated, right?
Okay.
That's Jesus in Christianity, but not here nor there. Why can't Allah do that? Why does he need a mate? Why can't he just generate a son from his own essence without help? You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
This is why I'm saying that Allah does not fit the criteria, not all of the criteria of what it means to be God. When in Christianity, we have the Father who, without a mate, without a companion, without support, is able to eternally generate his own son. from his own essence, which would thus mean that the Son is himself also is uncreated. He's always been, because he's eternally generated from the Father, sharing the same substance as the Father. So he's not a creature. He's not a created being.
Okay, fine. I give that one to you. Sure.
Thank you, Habibi.
You got me there. You got me there. Sure.